Hey, what's going on everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. This evening, I'm trying to get my toolbox cleaned up a little bit at home. I've kind of neglected it for a while, just shoving things off of the table and things that I've kind of collected along the way, just kind of in the drawers. So I'm just going to start off with the first drawer tonight. Figured you guys might want a little example of some things that you can do to help you organize your stuff better, whether it's at home or at the shop. So first thing I noticed was I have, I'll show you these in a second, but I've got this huge case of sockets. Yeah, stuff's just falling. This huge case of sockets from Duralast, and it's always kind of a pain in the butt to open the drawer and open the lid and undo the locks to try to gain access to a lot of these sockets. So to mitigate that, I picked these cobalt magnetic socket rail organizers up from Lowe's earlier this afternoon. I also picked up the shallow version. Now if you go side by side, the angles of it gonna make it look kind of weird and cattywampus, but if you take it and just simply flip the smallest to biggest like that, it almost comes out to a perfect square. So it's my hope that I'm going to figure out where I want to place them, figure out how they go, start putting sockets in. Now I've already kind of predetermined how many sockets I can fit in each rail. I should be able to fit in between 10 millimeter and 19 millimeter, no skips, and if I wanted to add a 21, I can. That option is there. So I picked those up. That's one of the things I wanted to do. Also, I've got all these extensions that are all over the place. Some of them are broken, some of them are good. Ones that are broken, they might have a warranty behind them. Some of the companies I can't even get a hold of anymore. I don't know. I'll probably junk them, scrap them, sell them, whatever. But I needed to find something to put them in. So I picked up this little case. They had these Craftsman cases for sale down there too. I picked one up just to throw some extensions in. Hopefully most of them will fit. The ones that don't, I'm going to have to figure out another placement for it. So that's kind of the idea behind what it is that I'm doing for the first drawer this evening. So that being said, I'm going to get busy and I'll show you guys the progress as it happens. Alright, so first I have to determine how I'm going to lay these out. Right now I've got my 3/8 Matco torque wrench here and my Husky 1/4 inch torque wrench towards the back, and I've got my 1/2 inch Mac breaker bar kind of laying in here as well. I have to determine from left to right where I want to have my sockets, and to be honest, I think with how and where I use it within the garage, I think the best thing I could probably do is put my sockets to the left, closest to the garage door, and then I'll worry about air tools and cordless down on this end and whatever other little things. So that's kind of what I'm starting with. Now I have to figure out, am I going to do it from front to rear, from rear to front? I think because of weight distribution and having the slight angle in this garage, if I push the drawer in a little bit, it tends to slowly wander its way out. And even though this is a big toolbox and I've got plenty of depth to it to where it shouldn't be a problem with it supporting the load, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the more heavier stuff towards the back and then kind of work my way forward, leaving myself a little gap over here. So that's kind of my game plan going into this. So let me get the oversized sockets first. Alright. So I don't have very many oversized sockets here at the house. Most of them are going to be at work or whatever, but I do have some. So I'm just going to set these in here. That leads me to my next tool that I need to bring up to the next level, which is in a big case. It is heavy, but it's a socket nonetheless. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my Matco 8-piece axle nut socket set up to the top just to see how this fits. So if I put these in here, how does that look for placement? Is it going to give me enough room for 3/8 as well as 1/2 inch? That's the determining factor. I think this looks good and I'm pretty comfortable with that because if I needed to I could just pick it up and lift it out. I could almost go this direction with it as well, but I just feel like it takes up so much more depth. You know what? Since it's a not as common socket that I'll be using, maybe I'll move the torque wrenches forward for now, and I'll bring these down here so I can get to them without having to move all my other sockets that I'm trying to organize. And the torque wrench I think I'll put next to it, and the 1/4 inch pound I'll put just to the front of it. So now I have some other big sockets here. I believe this goes from 23 all the way up to 30. I think I'll put those to the back like so, because again I'm probably not going to use them a lot. And I do have a tendency to use the deep and shallow quite often. But now I have a new problem, see, and it's a small problem. It's the 1/2 inch deeps are tall, so I'd have to actually figure out a way to work these around. So maybe the better option would be to put them this way, this direction, like so. So that way, that even though they're side by side, I don't have to move these rails to get to them. So I think that's what we're going to do with those. Now I'll get the deep magnetic rail that I picked up here earlier today first. I'll put that up here first. With the biggest size towards the back, I think that's going to be fine. I might even pull it forward one extension length, because I think I'm going to run into an issue here in a minute, even though I'm trying to pre-plan with the super long extensions that might not fit in the case. So I want to leave myself a little air gap in there in order to put the extensions behind the rails here. I think I might even go one socket in. That looks pretty good right there. So now I'll get a shallow one, and I'll just go the other way, like so. You guys see that? I know, black on black, right? A little bit hard to see the contrast of this, but I got the shallow to deep and then shallow to deep this way. So now I've got those two rails set up. I'll have to find another way of being able to mark this. No, that's the benefit of having Duralast sockets. I won't have to worry about marking it. SAE and metric are two different colors, so that's going to work out great for us because we have blue and we have red. So let me get another one of these deep ones, and again I'm just going to go right next to the other ones, making them perfectly flat, like such. Beautiful. And I'll do the same exact thing with the other two. So I bought 6 of these. You might be wondering, why did I get 6, right? Because I've just got a 6-point SAE and metric deep and shallow socket set here. I picked up 6 because I have some Cornwell 12-point deep sockets, and I am waiting for the 12-point 3/8 Cornwell shallow sockets to come in from my tool vendor. And so my thought process behind it was that I can, I like to pre-plan. Anything that I can see in the foreseeable future, I like to try to pre-plan on. So I've got this other hard case, which is nice, but it takes up a lot of space in a toolbox. So my plan is to take all these out, transfer them over to these magnetic rails that I have established in here. And then, you can see, look, those are just nice. Anyways, so my plan is to put them all in here, so that way if I need a 12-point, I can get a 12-point, I know where they are, and I know they're in metric. I don't run into very many situations where I need a standard 12-point, but I have run into a lot of different situations where I've needed a metric 12-point. Oh, I did not realize what size these go up to. So this covers from size 7mm all the way up to 19. So that gives me 2 extra sizes beyond its capable holding. Oh boy, so what am I going to do with that? I don't run into very many situations where I need necessarily a 7. 8 would be nice. 9, hit and miss. What am I going to do about that? Let's continue the madness for a second. Alright, so now I got 10. I think I'm going to, so far I've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, and I've got room for 2 more sockets. So we might have to just, I don't know, get rid of the 7mm or something. But let's just scoot them all forward, like so. God, you gotta love reorganizing, huh? I hope this is as entertaining for you as it is for me. Alright, so I'm left with one lonely 7mm. I'll have to figure out what to do with that later. Alright, getting back to our Duralast madness here. Alright, same thing. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 19mm. So we're going to have to make some sacrifices here as well. Well, let's go. Since we're in metric here on this outer row, we're going to keep it metric over here. So right now, I'm just going to pre-place 19 towards the back. We're going to work our way to the front. And again, extra sockets are going to be extra sockets, unfortunately. I've never really found a need to go 7.6 millimeter with a 3/8 drive, so I'm not concerned about, I don't know, offloading those onto somebody that really needs them. So let's just keep it cruising here, shall we? And there's my 8. All right, cool. So now that I know I got to go 8 through 19 with the 6-point, I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's pull this one out here. What is this? This is our 8. So this should be 8 through 19 all the way up. So that works out well for us there. So we're going to go 8. Well, I wish I had a little rag here. Got a wad of grease on that one. Perfect. All right, now we're on our SAE. We got 5/16 all the way up to 7/8. So I'm just going to start stabbing these in and see where we end up. Not as many SAEs, so this might just hold them all, which would be great. And it does. Beautiful. So that leaves me with 2 slots towards the end. Now I could, if I really wanted to, use the 2 extra sockets that we have here just to put them in. That way, whatever, it's still technically a complete set. But I don't want to mix SAE and metric, so we're going to leave that one alone. Now we're going to go with the oversized SAE all the way down to the undersize on the shallows. Now, some people might not like these magnetic trays, and I'll show you why. But the biggest reason, I think, is because they cannot see exactly what the size of the socket is. So, for me, it's by feel. I just grab what I feel like is the size. If I'm off 1 or 2, I go to that. Give me 1 second. What's going on, babies?
Yeah.
What's up? Sorry about that. Kiddos, what are you gonna do? Alright, so now what we have left? What we have left here is something that's pretty cool, actually. And it's this little bit driver. This thing's awesome, man. It really is. I love this bit driver. It's freaking cool. And I've got one more spot towards the end of this socket reel for it. So I'm gonna put that in place. Only, I might forget that that's exactly what it's for. So what I'm gonna do is try to mark this somehow. Maybe I'll just flip it upside down. That's what I'll do. I'll flip it upside down now. God, I really don't want to. It looks like a hex. I'm going to flip it upside down. Flip it upside down. There. That's the deal. I'm flipping it upside down. All right. Now I have a ratchet and I have a little extension here. These things can come out. I do have some bits, which are nice. Those are helpful too. But for right now, let's just leave the bits alone. Let's get on to the next part of our task, which is doing our extensions. That was another nightmare that I had going on. And I got ratchets too, but let's just see. Alright, so I got the straight extension that the set came with. Let's see what other extensions I got going on up here today. Oh, yep, got a spark plug socket there. All right, so here, let's see what we got going on here. So I got this, let's look at Craftsman. Yep, this is the broken locking extension. That little thing broke off the end of it, so that's pretty much junk to me. And because it was a 3 or 4 piece set, the other one's already broken. This is the last man standing. I may hang on to that, I may not. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan now. Used to love those things, now they're just junk. It's got a Matco locking that can go in there. This is a Cornwall locking that can go in there. This is the Duralast Universal, Universal. Another Duralast Universal. Beautiful set, love those so far. And then I got 2 straight non-universal extensions here. One 3, one 6-inch. One that came from the starter kit. One that's made by TrueCraft that I've just had forever. I'm just going to put those 2 together so I know that those are the straight extensions that I have. That pretty much says everything I need right there as far as my extensions go. So it still leaves me a little bit of wiggle room in here, really. And if I wanted to get a little bit more practical with this, what I could do is you can attach some of these extensions together if they will all fit in there. Yeah, those won't fit together. But you can kind of maneuver them around a bit. Alright, so we can go like that. So that gives us a little extra room for some other stuff if we wanted to. And what I think I'm going to use the extra space for is I have a 1/4-inch ratchet. I've got my 3/8 small snap-on ratchet, and I have my even smaller baby 1/4-inch ratchet from Snap-on. I think all the little ratchets can just go in there for now. Those will be just fine. I also have one 3/8 drive ratchet that came with the kit, which I think I'm also going to put in there, and I just know that that's where that stuff's going to be. Now, we don't have any slots really available for this socket, but it is a socket that I use quite regularly. It is a 5/8 drive spark plug socket. I will find a space for these later, but right now I'm just going to put it in this little tray with the extensions and the ratchet. And then secured, baby. That's it. And I can put these right next to the sockets that I have here, or I can lay them down in here. You know, whatever I want to do with them. For the meantime, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do with those yet. I can do different things with that. See, it's all about playing with it and organizing. I think for the meantime, how much room do I have if I put them down here? Not very much, but it gives me room towards the back. If I go like this, kind of overshadows the sockets. I do have some longer extensions. So, decision time. I think I'm going to leave these down here. Quick and accessible. Let's push it over here. Here's the deciding factor. Will the 1/4-inch sockets that I have fit in this pocket? I can definitely fit one. Are these my SAEs? Yes, they are. So maybe I could put that here. Oh, running into issue number 2 here. Alright. This is just a hair too long, and I don't need that end. So maybe I can find something to cut it with. Just like so. And that'll give me hopefully just enough room to put these 2 in place. It's just a matter of playing with it, guys. You'll ask any mechanic as he's organizing, how'd you do that? And they're all going to give you roughly the same kind of answer. It took me, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months to get it where I want it. It took me a year to adjust everything as I bought it. It takes time, guys, it really does. Alright, so I kind of dig that. The 1/4-inch extensions fit really well here in this nook. All the other 3/8 and everything seem to fit really well there. The only thing that I think I might do differently, we talked about putting extensions towards the back, and mainly because I didn't really want them rolling around. I think I'm going to change my mind on that right now. I'm just going to push all these socket rails to the top of the box. and I'm going to utilize the space that's in between the case of extensions and the sockets for my ratchets and maybe these oversized extensions here. Let's see, how does this gonna work? That's a little bit longer. I could put the oversized extensions right there. That doesn't bother me. That'll work. I think that'll work. Okay. Now I do have a little bit of room here, and I think with that little bit of room that I have left, I'm gonna take these spline drive. They're I forgot what style socket this was, but these things are great. These are from Matco. They work out well with the rounded and strip fasteners. I'm just gonna tuck those right there. I'm gonna put my ratchets right in here, right next to all the action, all the sockets. That's gonna work great. This 3/8 Craftsman, man. I don't even know if I want you in here. I think it'll still fit in this, but it does. Alright, cool. Rock and roll. So I got one Craftsman socket to kind of stick around in there. Cool. Alright, that gives me just enough room so I can put my Torx bits right next to that, which is going to be great. So let me get a Phillips. You see the chaos that I have in here. None of this is organized whatsoever. It's driving me crazy. That's why I decided to do a video with you guys. Hang out, shoot the shit a little bit, talk about organization. Yeah, that's what I thought. I actually have a screw tucked in there. Alright, I'll put the Torx bits right down in there. That works great. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So far so good. I'm pretty happy. I've made tons and tons of space here. So now I know you guys can't quite see. I'll have to back the camera up, but now I think it's time to put our air tools and cordless tools in here towards the end. So I've got the 1/2-inch impact gun. A lot of this stuff I'm not really going to be using with the compressor that I have, but it's nice to know that I have it when I need it. Then I have my 1/2-inch cordless that I do use quite a bit. I'll have to make sure how that's going to fit in there. I got the 3/8 snap-on that I've had forever. I think I'll just kind of tuck that in there somewhere with the green one. I'll put the cordless right there. I also have this 3/8 power torque that I got from O'Reilly's with the charger. I think I want to incorporate that into this box because I do use this a lot here too. And I think I'm just going to tuck that in. Same exact concept. Upside down for 3/8, right side up with the 1/2-inch. I do have this little 1/4-inch driver as well that I'm not too thrilled with anymore. I might end up taking that back to work. It needs to be fixed. It's not doing what it needs to be doing. And then I got my 3/8 Sealed Design SP air ratchet. I think I'm just going to tuck that right there by the breaker bar. Don't use it a lot, but when I need it, it's there. And that's what I love about it. Alright, yeah, I have definitely freed up a lot of space in this thing. So now I'm going to take the charger for this. And for now, I think I'm just going to kind of tuck it right here in between the 1/2-inch gun and the 3/8 drive. Alright, so that'll pretty much wrap up today's video. I know it might have been a little bit boring to some of you. To some of you it might have been actually kind of interesting and entertaining because trying to understand the development of putting your tools within a certain organization and layout within a toolbox that's empty can be very frustrating, extremely frustrating, and it can take you a great deal of time to figure out the layout. Look, I've gone through tons and tons of these organizers throughout the years. I know it works for me and my toolbox and the way that I like things laid out. What you like is going to be a little bit different. I mean, it might be a lot different from the way that I have mine set up. But there's lots of different things out there that can help you to create the most amount of space within the smallest amount of real estate that you have as far as your toolbox. I should know. I run solely out of a service cart at work, and I have just about anything and everything that I need in it there. And I run out of this toolbox here at the house, and half the time I can't even find what it is that I'm looking for because I got tools on top of tools. So believe me, I know organizing can be a bitch, but most of us don't really think about it too much when we're at the house. That's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Again, if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. We'll see you next time. Deuces.